for the people that are writing. Is that going to be the new social civil war? And I think he said maybe it'll kind of calm down once we get the independent investigation by the Hush Blackwell. I don't know, but what I will say is this, that the media continues to divide itself. Mm-hmm. And in the way when we're trying to all cover something, and I'm not even putting us in the media, so that's just it. It's almost to the point of like...
we don't even ever, like...
No.
We really compliment ourselves on the show because, one... We started as a podcast, all right? Do we all go to journalism school?
No. We didn't go, hey, biz?
I did for a year.
In the biz, call it J School.
All right. Did I write for my school newspaper as a journalist? Yeah.
At Black
I
Hawk.
did too.
I did too. Oh my
God. I wrote
God.
a couple.
Right.
We all have that in common.
It was like an
am
op-ed.
I going to make a statement that might maybe piss off some career journalists? You know, that maybe spend a lot of money going to be on TV?
Yeah.
I find it not to be that hard to do. Mm-hmm. Okay, I'm sorry. I just
that was my easiest major. I'm just gonna put that out there.
And maybe it's not as good as what you do. Whatever. Your opinion, my opinion, but fine.
I gotta hear about this. They wouldn't tell me when I walked in.
Either you can talk sports or you can't talk sports. It's like sales.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
It's true.
I don't know what to tell you, but guess what? To not have the stones to even name our show, and then only get quotes from Robert T. Greene.
Oh.
And by the way, I did not, or nobody in this room, called that man a hustler.
No.
I asked him questions about his past to allow people to understand what that gentleman had been through. Now,
that he was a former athlete and his career changed. His path changed.
So his path changed, and that's why he's such an advocate for the players.
Yes.
Right.
All right. Now, whether I feel or not my opinions of his intentions, as a man, I thought, it's very, very much credible for us to talk about his upbringing, or not just his upbringing, but his past and what led him to be there. It had nothing to do with it. I wasn't trying to label him anything. I wasn't trying to profile anyone. Okay.
No.
I was never disrespectful to that man. At the end of the show, I told him what I thought, and I stand by that to this day.
Okay, so let's regroup, paint the picture. A week ago, we had an interview with Robert T. Greene, who's a representative for the players, Acom Wadley, and other players that have issues with their treatment in the past at the University of Iowa football. And we understand that. And I think multiple times during this interview we said, yes, we want to hear their voices, but at the time he was the only person that was talking for them. Mm-hmm. In between, have we gotten a lot of support? Yes, on Twitter we have, and other people that cover the Hawkeyes. And I mentioned them on Monday, and I will mention them again later, different people who to follow. In between, I have been very quiet about recognizing anybody who may have downgraded or looked down upon us or tried to minimize the interview that we had on Thursday.
Right.
All right. So
I don't even know what was said. Can we?
All right. Well, we'll get to that. First things first. Last week, at the beginning of last week or whatever else, you had Rob Howe from Hawkeye Nation coming out. Hold on a second, okay?
Well, I just got Scott Dockerman's going to call us at 1:15. He just reached out to me on Twitter.
1:15.
Yep. We will be waiting.
Central Standard Time.
And that's who wrote the article?
We'll get to his article then. Okay.
Ooh, I'm nervous.
Will you not yell at him and hang up on and drop the earbuds?
Yes.
Yes, Jay. Well, we go to Rob's, okay? And Rob, when he doesn't mention us at all, he calls us just a local radio station, which we are. But again, it could have been in Cedar Rapids, Sioux City, could be all over the place or whatever else. But he went on local radio station and he just said that that all we did was repeatedly ask what the end game was for, and obviously that's been asked for the fans. But he could have included the interview. He could have quoted more. He could have even done a link, which he linked earlier in the article on Hawkeye Nation, to other things. So it's not like he doesn't know how to do it. It wasn't about trying to catch Robert in an end game. It was a very simple who, what, why, when, and where. All right, that's all it is. Who's involved? Why? what happened, why did it happen, or why are we doing it? Why are we getting collectively people together? That would kind of be the end game. I mean, when you're telling a story, like, why are you getting everyone together? What's going on?
Right.
What's the resolve? You use the word resolve.
Pretty standard question.
Robert actually used the word end game just as much as we did.
I changed it. I said, well, let's change the word so that I go, let's change it to resolve.
When we
what's
know
gonna,
when.
What's going to resolve the situation.
During the 21-year period.
Or is there a resolve?
Fair. It's when.
In general.
Who, what, why, when, where. Where it was. Iowa City. All right. What we wanted was the why. Why are we getting together? Why are we slowly putting the names out there? Why is, and there was no, so the story kind of goes back and forth. Now, Dockerman goes on The Athletic today, and he writes a nice article. He's a very well written, he writes very well. He works for The Athletic, for goodness sakes. It's a paid subscription. But in between, he glosses over our interview. And T-Ray, do you want to take it from here?
Well, he glosses over our interview, Jay. He doesn't even name us as a show.
Yes.
It says, after an interview conducted with a Quad Cities-based radio station. It doesn't even call us a show to start out with.
Right. Mm-hmm. That's a dig right there.
He allows Green to get a quote in this article. Described his interview in unflattering terms.
Of course he did.
So he allows Green to go on here. He goes, I'm not going to speak about, this is quote from Robert. Quoted from Robert. I'm not going to speak out too much about the debacle, which is what I gave out to the Iowa media last week. So now it's on Iowa media. But it's relevant to discuss some of the stereotypes and racial profiling that actual radio show subjected me to in the actual scenario.
Are you kidding me? This is real?
Use the actual too much.
Again.
Whatever. Actual. Yeah, it is an actual radio
It's so
show.
It's so far off base, though.
We did not racial profile. We did not try to stereotype this man.
Nope.
He does say it to Robert's beckoning, then they get to the issues. It's not true. At the same time, him and I said, there was a pause, and I said, but really we're here to talk about, and he said, yes, we're here to talk about these things. I said, but I'd like to get a story behind the voice so people get to know you, no matter who calls in. And either at some point we say, like, yeah, so, what...
Well, let me continue Robert's tweet. Mm-hmm. His quote in the article. The reason why I did that actual interview was to do one thing and have their voices heard. But as I proceeded to the interview, it was about my background, how I grew up, how I got shot, and all those different things. We covered that in like 1 minute of the 52-minute interview.
Right.
Nothing about the names that are listed in this video. We brought up Akram Wadley. We brought up the names. We said, tell the stories. What story do you have to tell? Mm-hmm. And it proceeded to be circular talk, not getting to any point of any time we did ask any question, which was right here, described as the questions were largely generic. Is that's not a quote from Robert. That is how Dockerman's describing our questions.
If they were generic, why weren't they easier to answer?
Well, the questions were he was asked a tough question about his contact with a recruit. Mm-hmm. Tom asked him if he'd been in touch with the university. We tried to ask him if he'd been in touch with, and then every time we tried to ask him a question that was not generic.
Generic is Ricky Parks is not generic. The name is not generic.
Have you reached out to the university? Now he's trying to say on here too. Follow-up questions about this, and then Green's lawyers wanted to jump on the case. The questioning then steered toward Wadley. The interview became contentious when Green claimed nobody in Iowa media had covered the topic, a claim which instantly became disputed. And Tom Kakert was like, no, we have covered this. We have. I believe that the interview became contentious at the point when we asked him, well, have you been in contact with the coaching staff or the University of Iowa? What, why should I have to reach out to the university? And I said, well, as the player's rep, wouldn't you want to reach out to the staff and mm-hmm. voice some of your concerns as well to help them fix this problem? Or what's your end game then? If it's not to help fix, is it to get rid of this coaching staff completely? And we were asking questions. Are those generic? I don't know. No. Maybe I'm not Scott Dockerman. I don't know. I'm not as smart as him apparently.
They're not
That's
generic.
fine, Scott.
If the questions were generic, hold on a second. If the questions were generic, it's on for 53 minutes. At any point, you can go on the Harrington's Pub Facebook comment thread and ask a question there. Or you could have direct messaged us on Twitter. We were all getting messages. We are all asking questions from fans or whatever else. There's nothing generic in there whatsoever. If they were so generic, he could have said, hey, ask this question.
At one point, Jay, he brings up the part where Green said,
Yeah.
1,000 lawyers want to jump on this case. That was not him trying to answer any question. We were trying to ask him if there was any financial gain to be had, because by the guy that had kind of caught him in the lie here, if you will, he's got lawyers involved. So there's a set of lawyers that are involved with his clients. Mm-hmm. But he tried to brush that under the rug by saying 1,000 lawyers want to jump on this case. Well, I'm sure they do. And that's what we said.
If there's financial gain
of course
to be
they
had,
do.
yes.
There's lawyers out there like that. We said that.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to know, in my eyes, I wanted to know if Robert's mission was truly to help players so that it doesn't happen in the future, much like what's going on with Felicia Goodson.
Yeah.
All right?
Right.
Robert's goal is not to help anyone.
Nope.
Except to help somebody's pocketbook.
Himself.
And it is. It's to help pocketbooks.
Yep.
Which, granted, that might be
something
that's going to happen no matter what in a situation like this. But at the same time, that's in no way did anything we do racially profile or stereotype him.
No.
And for us to get labeled like that, and I'll tell you right now, it just pisses me off.
Yeah.
It pisses me off beyond belief, Jay.
But what did Felicia say the other day? They're so quick to cry racism when they don't agree with something that is said or the way something is projected or put out there. So this is not a surprise to me.
Whatever. I look at it like us getting downplayed, and I'll ask Scott, were you upset because you didn't have the first interview with him or what?
I will get to that. I will discuss that 100% because now this is where it's starting to become
for everybody.
This is where I feel like it's getting a little bit more personal in the history of where the show is to now, and I've been through this before with a few people, and I see right through what's going on, 100%. And I'll get to that when we come back from break. I'll tell you why I get upset about doing things like this and Rob Howe not tagging us or putting things on there, because the media will keep people from trying to do things. They'll downplay who you are, what you're doing, if you don't have your J school credentials, and that's not right. So I'll tell you my story when we come back from break.
All right. Hey, Quad City, stop going to your favorite social media sites asking for suggestions of where to get your oil changed, who does the best tattoo work, or the best place for lunch in the Quad Cities. Pick up your Locals Love Us Guide, QCA. It has an easy-to-navigate table of contents to help you find whatever you're looking for. Or you can go to their website at localsloveus.com, click on Quad Cities, and then browse favorites. It is so easy to use, and they even rank the most popular places for you. Locals Love Us, your guide to the best.
This is Turk Wendell, and you're listening to Don't Hassle Us. We're local.
From lines of credit in Chicagoland to equipment finance loans in the Quad Cities to better cash flow in Milwaukee, First Midwest Bank is committed to using our local knowledge and ideas to help our clients get their business momentum back. Visit wehaveideas.firstmidwest.com. You have plans, we have ideas. First Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
This is the Dan Levitar Show on ESPN Radio.
I want everybody to think of a number between 1 and 10.
4.
Okay, shouldn't have said it. Now I want everyone to multiply that number by 2. Now I want you to add 6. Now I want you to divide it by 2. Now I want you to take your original number and subtract it from the number that you have right now. The number you currently have in your head is 3. Boom, baby! Whoa!
It is
magic. It's not a magic trick.
Magic?
It's mathic. Like, it's not magic. All you did was math there.
We're on the radio, Dan. I can't do magic. I got to do it the way I can do it on the radio.
Can't believe we all picked the same number.
The magic trick is I got the math right.
Well, that was the big upset because I totally thought we were ending this show with you going, wait a minute, my number's 5 because you did the math trick all wrong.
The Dan Levitard Show.
9 till noon on the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 1170.
Renewal by Anderson.
I'm Sam Hare with Renewal by Anderson, and we're excited to announce our 25th anniversary. With 25 years of service, our family is excited to continue helping yours. The security and safety of your home is still our priority. Whether your windows and doors need to be replaced due to age, safety, security, or damage, we're here for you. We're offering virtual appointments, safe distance consultations, and more. Our Renewal by Anderson family is practicing CDC guidelines to keep your family safe. In celebration of our 25th anniversary, we are offering flexible financing options. No money down, no payments, and no interest for a full 25 months. That's over 2 years. On top of our financing options, celebrate with our 31-day sale this July. $350 off of every window and $900 off of every patio door. Text the word SILVER to 96714 for more information or visit us online at renewalbyanderson.com.
Renewal by Anderson. We love our new windows.
Golick and Wingo.
Talking to Jay Williams, our ESPN basketball analyst.
If you're asking me to compare Adam Silver to Roger Goodell and to Rob Manfred and the way he's been able to run the NBA, I mean, I think Adam is one of the best leaders we not only have in sports, but I think we have in this country. And he's been extremely pragmatic about his approach and making sure that he has all the information available. And I think doing it at a closed location, Disney World is great. Having the teams there, having enough testing is there. And I also think that, for a lot of the players, with the exception of the guys who are making a lot of money, this could, if they can't get a season, and this ultimately could affect next year's CBA. And I think a lot of guys recognize that for players that are coming into the league, that players who aren't making millions of dollars, that, hey, like, this is their livelihood too.
Golick and Wingo, morning 6 till 9 on the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 1170.
Hey, traditions are important to you and us at the Mississippi Valley Fair, but nothing is more important than your health and safety. You can help us make your fair experience a healthy one. We are working hard with the health department and others and asking you to keep a safe distance. If you can't stay apart, be a superhero. Wear a mask. Stay home if you've been sick or running a fever the past 14 days. Wash your hands at our special stations. Check out our safety plan online. If not for you, for your neighbors, our neighbors. This is your Mississippi Valley Fair.
Download the ESPN 1170 app today and never miss a thing. From the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
I don't know. Hey, welcome back.
Hey. Hey, y'all.
This is Don't Hassle So Local on AM 1170.
So
the KBOB.
There's certain ways you can do things. You can agree with everyone, or you can take. I
don't want everybody.
Hold on a second.
All
Just
right.
hear me out. Like, there are certain ways to build up either your social media or your being contentious. That's going to be the word of the day. Or your takes or whatever else, and it may sometimes you have to paddle against the tide. And so I kind of see through where Rob Howe is going with Hawkeye Nation right now, but I want to tell you about why I believe certain things aren't tagged or the site is not named. He may have named ESPN 1170 AM, but he also he doesn't say Anchor FM has a podcast in the thing, Scott Dockerman. He says Washed Up Walk-Ons. They have a title. Anchor FM is a podcast. It's called a podcatcher, okay?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Just like this is a radio station. He names Washed Up Walk-Ons in there. He does not name Don't Hassle Us for Local.
Do you think that was a reason so that they wouldn't look it up and see it for themselves?
Whereas Rob Howe doesn't name us at all. See, now Hawkeye Nation, if they're not first, they consider themselves last. And if they're last, they're going to downplay anything that they're not first in.
Okay.
It's been that way for a while.
Sure.
I've had conversations with a former employee of Hawkeye Nation. As a matter of fact, I had an interview with a former employee at Hawkeye Nation to write for, and it was about 6 years ago this fall, to write for Hawkeye Nation for wrestling, when Hawkeye Nation really covers football and basketball. My interview was about 45 minutes long. 38 minutes of that 45-minute interview was about that former employee and how he is considered the godfather of internet coverage for the University of Iowa Hawkeyes.
Okay.
38 minutes of my 45-minute interview was about everything that he's done in his past writing, blogging, covering of my 45-minute interview. My follow-up to the interview was thanking him for his time, where I said, hey, would you like me to go to Iowa City Duels just to write something up, a mock thing, to see if you think I have what it takes, if you're interested. I never heard back from him. Right? He only did the interview because the owner of the company said, I want you to interview this guy. I want to expand. He did not like being micromanaged by the owner or anything like that. He did not want a new other voice to come in or anything. I don't know Rob Howe. He does not know me. Okay?
Okay.
I still believe that they're under that umbrella of, hey, if we don't get the scoop, if we don't have the interview, then we're just going to downplay it. And that's kind of what he did here. Hey, these people aren't listening to the voices. Nobody want to listen to the voices. We got just as close as everyone else did for Akram Wadley till Akram Wadley pulled everything out. After 3 hours, he said, I'm ready to have my voice, all media contact me. I tried just as hard as everyone else did on a Sunday till he said about 3 hours later, he's like, never mind, I'm back. I'm not going to do these interviews.
That's dishonest journalism, though.
That's Akram Wadley's not the dishonest journalism. So there's one case. I've had other places, publications, who I've worked for, written for, whatsoever, where there's been openings to be like, hey, I want to write. How do I apply? Should I pull out some of my pieces? Where I've been, instead, the reply back was, well, we really like to hire people that have a journalism background. Well, I worked for you for 2 years. Yeah, but we really like journalism background. If you really want to write, you should go freelance for Bleacher Report. That's the thing. They want to, the degree thing that obviously that's in the news now, the degree over experience type of thing. But we want to protect the people that are in the business. Right. Now, I don't know where Scott's coming from in this, but I don't know why he decided just to call us a ESPN, ESPN 1170, and to generalize us.
I think it was to avoid people actually looking up the interview themselves and seeing it for themselves.
And I just don't know why he didn't reach out and be like, hey, this is the way the guy walked out of this. Have you heard anything back from him? Like, I haven't heard anything back from him. All I know is we got blocked on Twitter by Robert T. Green.
Because it'll contradict what he's writing. He doesn't want people to actually look at and see it for themselves. He wants them to take his words for face value. It's not hard to see through it. It's very transparent.
So,
in my opinion.
It's a thing that bothers me because we don't take ourselves very seriously. Yes, do I geek out when they give us like media credentials? Absolutely. I think it's awesome. I never want to be the guy that's waiting around for Fran, a post game to be like, "Are you going to be here on Friday?" I don't know if I have to. I still want to geek out every time I pull up to Carver or Kinnick.
Yeah.
That I get to do it. I don't take myself seriously. I keep quiet. I do whatever else. But it doesn't help when someone's still trying to keep me in a corner and be like, oh, your guys' show?
Yeah.
I get it. It's one of those things. You can make fun of you guys are both single kids, but I can make fun of my brother. But as soon as you do,
we're
going to step up and we're going to be like, wait a minute, whoa.
Anybody can say, I can do that to you guys, but if somebody else does, I'm going to be upset about it. Yeah. I feel you.
So it's just one of those things. It's the funny story that I have with AC Earl. I love that story. We have him in. It's like week 2 of the COVID. I have to let AC in. We're in the parking lot. How are you guys doing with this? There's not a lot to talk about. I said, AC, our show is always goofy. He's like, yeah. And I look up, I go, easy. And then when I see her, I had to look up, easy.
Yeah.
I was like, I could say that, AC, but you can't.
You can't say that.
So I understand that, but just you can do us the smallest thing. The smallest thing. And you can just put a link in. Tag the show, put a link in.
But I feel like that was premeditated, though. I really do. He didn't want people to actually see it for themselves to form their own opinions.
No, it's just that they don't. It's like, it happened.
It's a dig. It was a dig.
100%. That's the way it feels. And if they didn't mean it that way, they didn't mean it that way. I have my own preconceived notions now because of the way I've been treated in the past.
Right.
We've been told you're not sports. Okay.
Most of the time we are.
Well, that's the thing. We got told when 2 years ago, when we reached out, and we're friends. And again, I will defend the Quad City Times, Matt Koss, Bobby Metcalf, love all those guys, okay? Mm-hmm. But when we say like, hey, we're going to go on ESPN, and we haven't had a local sports talk radio show in 15 years. And the reply back from the Quad City Times is, yeah, but we'll put you in the entertainment section. because you guys aren't sports.
Oh.
And I said, how about I just write it then, because the entertainment writer doesn't know anything about us, and you can put staff report. And we were, luckily enough, on a Sunday, we were on the cover of the Quad City Times, but it had nothing. It was never in the sports section.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, last Sunday, the Quad City Times ran a fantasy draft of the 60 basketball players that have gone on to play college and the NBA. Not sports.
No, that's
It's
entertainment. Yeah, 100%. Yep. Oh, the double standards.
And I understand, well, COVID makes things different. We have to write different things or whatever else. But you can't 1 minute do that and then
contradict yourself.
Yeah, not 1 minute do it, and 2 years later and then be like, hey, sorry about that.
Right.
Those are the things that I think, and I sat here and I'm like, because I think everybody is right, and I've listened to a lot of podcasts and I've read a lot of things, and a lot of it is this. The general consensus is this. Let's put the Robert T. Green thing aside, because that's not the story. Obviously, maybe he's got some, reasons for doing it, but let's listen to the players. And I think everyone wants to hear from the players.
That's
right?
what we asked for.
And so all week long I thought about, man, if I could show everyone my crazy day with Robert T. Green, going from how in the morning to in screen snapping, which now I'm going to.
Yeah,
but I kept all week long, I'm like, why keep bringing this up?
Mm-hmm.
Why keep bringing this up when really the focus should be on the players?
Right.
And then you have something like this where it's
if they're gonna
stereotype. I mean, racially stereotyped him.
But now you have to show his character as well, because it's a rebuttal to the defamation I feel like we are receiving. Right?
I can't handle this.
Well,
when
this whole article,
the guy liked the show. He agreed that we weren't mean. He's like, good for you. You're independent contractors. You're businessmen just like me. No, I love this show. I love the conversation. I love the way it's going. Everything else. Enjoyed telling his story about himself. Laughed it off. We wanted him to show that it changed his career path, that what he was going to do, and how he stayed involved in sports, because there are certain ways. And then it turns into this. And these people, the subscribers, the Athletic, truly don't know us, and instead now the station is racially stereotyped guests now. Yeah, I mean, the works of working a thing with AC Earl, he could read that anytime and be like, what person are you? I go, I don't know. I mean, I know what I am. AC, you know what I am. He's like, yeah, but this guy thinks that you're like, what person?
Yeah.
This could really hurt any future endeavors or projects I'm working on.
Yeah,
we're working on.
It falls under line what Felicia was saying the other day. If you don't remember, she said that when people are backed into a corner, sometimes that they cry, they use the racism as a way to victimize themselves in a situation where they weren't necessarily victims. And I feel like that is one of those times.
Well, I've been quiet for a while.
Yes, you have.
Back, Troy.
So
welcome
I apologize. Yeah.
No, it's fine. I'm just going to tell you, and you guys are touching on some things. Being backed into a corner, being in a situation where affect what we could for the future of our show, future of what we try to do. I'm backed into a corner, I feel like.
Yeah.
And when I'm backed in the corner, I'm not going to incorrectly label somebody.
Right.
I'm going to fight back.
It's fight or flight.
I fight.
Yeah, that's right.
I've
That's who
always
you
fought.
are. Absolutely.
And that's always what I've done, and everybody that knows me knows who I am.
Right, same.
I am the same person you hear on this radio show, except I have to cut down the cuss words.
And we succeed usually.
And
in that endeavor.
And if Document's going to allow this guy to be quoted in his article and not give us a chance at rebuttal, and not even have the balls to name us as a show,
right?
Yeah, I'm going to be contentious.
Yeah,
don't be contentious, because
I am going to be.
That's exactly what they want. That's exactly what Robert T. Green wants. That's what he wants to do.
I'm going to say, well, then, is this contentious, Jay? Why would you not name our show in your article?
Yeah, that's not contentious. That's straightforward. I like it.
Why would you not give us a chance to rebut this quote?
I like that.
And why would you misrepresent the interview when you, in his words, he put at Green's beckoning? That's a that was
a change. That was a change from the person that we were on the phone with to the Akram Wadley. That was the change into, like, we both said at the same time. There was a pause. I feel pretty good about this, reading the interview and being like, yes, we want to hear your story, but let's talk about this. And I do remember we both kind of said at the same time, we're here to talk about the players. And I said, I absolutely, and I agreed with him, and we both almost interrupted each other. Yeah. And I said, I agree, we are here to talk about that, but I we, as an interview, like to have the story, a person, something that you can feel behind the voice. And that's all it was. It was never, gotcha. We think you're a street hustler. Not one bit. I was like,
Nobody ever used the word street hustler.
He put his story out on his Facebook Live. We watched it on Tuesday, and we said, we saw your video, and it really impacts where he is today because it changed his career path. That's all we were pointing out. You wanted to be a football player. You were D2. You've been through the situation. Obviously, he mentioned it plenty of times. I know how the system works.
Well, then once again, Dockerman interjects his own opinion into what happened in our interview, where he goes, the interview became contentious when Green claimed nobody in Iowa media had covered the topic, a claim which became instantly disputed.
Yes.
Well, Tom disputed it, which Tom has been there for the entire thing. And I say very much a stretch, not true. It's an opinion because I feel the interview became contentious almost immediately after our first question.
What do you mean?
I think he started to become contentious when he was like, well, I don't think we're not here to talk about me. And you're like, no, absolutely not.
Oh, T-Roy, he was contentious with his messages to me, the way he talked to me about the interview in general.
Right. And I'm just saying, he came on to be contentious, and we did our best to let him talk. I mean, we did let him talk. I mean, you go back and listen to it.
All he did was talk. We didn't get to talk.
And he said the same thing at least 10 times. Listen, if I thought that he was out there to actually help, I'd be like, you know what? I applaud what you're doing. I don't see where he's out there to help. I just don't. And if he's allowed to have his opinion, I'm allowed to have mine.
Absolutely.
That's how it works.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and
I'm nervous, you guys. I'm nervous for trying to get I'm excited. It's like, those butterflies you get when you're going to your first high school dance and you're like, okay, what's going to happen? You're a little nervous, but you're also excited.
Not that. The thing is that the media needs to realize that
I feel
the
everything
people on Twitter,
here
including
about
myself,
us, they're just mad because we got a hold of the guy first.
Yep.
I really feel like that because this is the second time.
I
Rob
tell you
Howe
what,
is the first time.
Hey, let me tell you
people
something.
bring us up in an article and,
I'll be shocked.
downplay who the hell we are.
I'll be shocked if Robert said, I'm not giving you a quote whatsoever unless you put it in like this and you make the radio station sound bad. Trust me, I dealt with this man.
Well, I don't know. I want to know where he got this quote.
Him at all.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Where did this come from? Where did he get the quote? From Robert?
He said,
Robert directly or through Facebook?
It's from Robert. I'm sure he said, I'm not
Twitter?
going to answer any questions unless you... Because, I mean, if you read the messages that I have from Robert, where it's just like, you need to take down this post or you need to discredit this post of Jade Michael and all these other things. And he's like, you shared it. And I was like, what do you want me to do?
By the way, I'm not blocked by Robert T. Green. I'm going to do my best not to.
I'm not blocked yet.
No,
but
I'm not personally either, but the show is.
Well,
when
4 hours ago, he put something else up about saying things about Robert or Iowa football.
He called Tyler from Washed Up Walk-Ons. He basically called him a racist for an emoji that he used.
He hands out racist like Halloween candy. You can't do that. You can't just throw that out there.
Yes,
I mean, you can, but it looks bad on you. It doesn't look bad on everybody else.
But that depends on how you want to look at it. Some people, it may look bad. You may think that, but some other people will be like, yeah, that does sound racist to me. He could have had this. He could have talked to Scott and Scott been like, dang, yeah.
If he thought we were racist during the interview, it wouldn't have lasted over 50 minutes. First of all, second of all, he didn't even say it was racist until after the fact when he didn't have the hang up that he wanted. It was after the fact, long after the fact, and then he went through that interview in his head, like I told you, with fine tooth comb, and he looked for any situation or any statement that could have been deemed racist to back up his point of view and make us look bad versus making himself look bad. That's it. It's a defense mechanism, and it's weak to me.
But this is honestly, this is not where I wanted Thursday to be. This isn't even all week long. I mean, obviously having Felicia on Monday was great, but it's still anytime on the air, Bomber, and you said like, 'cause I'm sure he said, I'm not giving you a quote whatsoever unless you put it in like this, and you make the radio station sound bad. Trust me, I dealt with this man. I dealt with this man. For years.
He hands out racist like Halloween candy.
I mean, obviously having Felicia on Monday was great, but it's still anytime on the air, Bomber, and you said like, do you want to share the story? Who's the person? I was like, I'm not going to bring up his name. And that was Rob from Hockey Nation. I was like, I'm not going to bring it up. I'll tell you off the air, but I'm not going to bring it up. It's not worth my time. But it's constant now because he went after how Washed Up Walk-On's podcast, kind of just downplaying what the guys were saying, like, oh, they're questioning Akim Wadley. They did, but they also said he had feet like a unicorn. Like this guy had ungodly talent.
Right.
But nobody, he doesn't mention that. Just like, oh, he's questioning Akim Wadley as a teammate and other teammates. And yeah, they did because they're frustrated because all these guys are coming out. But they also said really good things.
Sure.
So,
but those aren't offensive, so they can't use that in defense of their
position.
This
isn't where I wanted or expected to be. But when I came in and I read it, and honestly, then I got to go through the whole article. But when I saw this, I was like, really? Like, I was like, this is what he took from this? This seems strange.
It isn't what he took from this. This is what he's using now in his own defense to mattress pad what he did. Like, it's a way to soften up what he did and make it look like we were the bad guys versus him not answering our questions.
Yeah, I don't really, and again, like kind of what you said just there doesn't have to be a bad guy in this. And as far as us covering it and talking about it, and that is another problem which we've addressed also. No one can take 4 minutes to just be quiet, listen, interpret what the person said, and say, I understand your point, or I agree with your point, or I hear where you're coming from, but here's where I disagree.
Right.
And that's the problem.
Because it's why? What's going on right now? What kind of culture are we living in right now? What do we call it?
You're wrong, I'm right.
Cancel culture.
Yeah.
That's just falling in line with all of that, with the whole cancel culture. That's what this is. It's pathetic. People aren't allowed to voice their opinions, or they're labeled as something derogatory. It's just pathetic. It's sad and it's pathetic and it's unintelligible to me.
So, again, it's one of those things I brought it up yesterday because I'm like, all right, I'm seeing some things going on with the media and people and Iowa fans on Twitter, and I also kind of felt like, where is this now? Where's it going? Anything? But this type of thing isn't right. It's not allowed. It shouldn't be allowed. And there's a lot of people that pay money to read this, and there's a lot of comments on the back that say, good article. And this article isn't just about us, by the way. This is like 8 pages long, so it's not long. And like I said, when I say he's a talented writer, he's good at what he does.
He actually does a better job of getting anybody's word out and story out than Robert T. Green has done at all. I'm sorry.
So, I just don't like the idea of that it's, racially stereotyped.
But this is what they're doing right now. Like, okay, so I think the purpose behind this is to try to label us in a certain light.
Everybody, though.
That's cancel culture, finger quotations. But to get rid of us, to try to get us canceled, to get us...
Here's my thing.
You disagree with me? Guess what? You're racist.
But here's what... Okay, in that turn, here's where I think... Where Rob Howe tends to pander to Robert T. Green, and a little bit in this thing, Doc panders to Robert T. Green, and it is because Robert T. Green calls the Iowa media racist and says, you're not asking the right questions, you're not doing anything. And so in turn, they wait, whoa, not me. How can what message do you want to get out? And he said, well, here's what you have to write. And they said, okay. That's what I'm saying. That's where I think they are.
So he's bullying people. He's bullying people into doing what he wants them to do.
I guess.
You can't do that.
You can't. He got away with it. He got away with it. And that's
You're racist. Wait. No, we're not. What do you want? What can we do for you? How can we make you feel more comfortable? That you don't get to do that. That's not how this works. Now I'm irritated. Way to go.
Anyway, I guess maybe we'll talk to him later. I don't know. We do have other things to talk about outside of Iowa, just football related stuff. And I know there are the questions out there, people, still asking about, what's going to happen. But it should be soon. The independent investigation from Hush Blackwell should be coming out soon. And that's the best I can say. And I think we're all looking forward to that. And that's what Todd said yesterday from KGM, that we're all looking forward to that. And but I think we're all just on pins and needles. It's not fanatic for a reason. There are a lot of people out there that just don't want to hear bad things about the Iowa coaching staff, especially one that you've gotten used to for 21 years. But you know what, Bomber? This is unprecedented times. And, I just did that. I just did that because
You wanted to hear my eyes roll into the back of my head?
It reminds me of a podcast, an Iowa podcast I listened to yesterday, and it just seemed like anytime there was a pause and everything, it was like, well,
it's unprecedented times.
And
this is the new normal.
It was the idea that, I mean, we had Cake on last week, and we're like, should Ferentz' job, should be worried about his job? He's like, no,
he did great. There was nothing offensive.
No, I'm saying about when we had him on Tuesday, though, and I don't think coaches should be worried about his job or anything like that. I mean,
oh no, gosh, no,
and his legacy. But I did in another podcast I listened to about Iowa football. It was like, well, if he were to leave, does this put a black mark on Iowa football? And I shouldn't even say that. Should it put it in a negative term, a negative way of looking at it? And the thing is this. And they said like, oh no, and they're like, Iowa's a great job to have. And then I was like, oh, is it? Like, is Iowa head football coach? Is that? They were like, it's a great job to have.
Yeah. Why wouldn't it be? You're going to have people come at you from every direction, no matter what position of power you hold.
Let's just say Coach Ferentz says, that's it, I'm out, I'm done.
Oh.
It's not like you get the pick of the litter for the Iowa coaching staff.
Right, yeah. Okay.
I mean, the head coach. It's not like you're going to take, Lincoln Riley out of Oklahoma.
No. Yeah. You're right. You lose him, you're gonna be waiting to fill those shoes.
So to me, I was like, wait, you guys cover Iowa, and what you talk about media, I was like, you guys know better than this. Instead of just being like, because it's a great job to have.
Not stressful at all.
Okay,
you're under
I
no
get
scrutiny.
It, but not a lot of people are sitting there being like, hey, I'll tell you what, Tallahassee's a great place to live, but when that job opens up in Iowa City, I'm out. I love it. Yeah. So,
are you from Tennessee? Are you?
No.
You're the only 10 I see.
Oh, that's nice. All right, let's take our last break of the hour before we come back, and we will talk a little bit about MLB. Can't get out of their own way. What the NFL is telling people they can do for, they're telling their players they can do for social distancing, and talk a little bit about the Ivy schools canceling their fall sports, and and so much more, I guess. Yeah.
All right. Locally owned and operated in the Quad Cities since 1934, Tri-City has been your source for restaurant equipment value, quality, very competitive prices, and full service. Your restaurant equipment choices include kitchen cookware, cooking equipment, refrigeration, kitchen utensils, tableware, china, glassware, and flatware. All restaurant equipment and kitchen equipment sales are guaranteed, including 30 days labor and 90-day parts. Tri-City does deliver to Quad City residents, and they will match any online price. Give them a call today at 563-322-5382 for any questions you may need for your bar, restaurant, or personal kitchen. Showroom hours are 8 to 5, Monday through Friday at Tri-City Equipment, located at 527 West 4th Street in Davenport.
You like that? You like that? Give me a hell yeah. I said give me a hell yeah.
This is Rachel Alger with St. Ambrose University, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
Which stage of life are you in?
I'm shopping for a new house and can't believe I'm a grown-up stage.
How on earth do people afford college stage?
Or
I never have to think about work again stage.
No matter which stage of life you're in, First Midwest Bank has the knowledge and experience to help you. Visit firstmidwest.com/everystage. You have plans, we have ideas. First Midwest Bank, momentum for life. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
This is the Dan Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
My top 3 movies with Angelina Jolie. Number 3, Mr. and Mrs. Smith. Oh, hey, classic. Angelina Jolie, Brad Pitt. Whew, best looking couple in the history of couples. Number 2 on that list, Kung Fu Panda. Underrated movie, so good. And my top movie starring Angelina Jolie, Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, the laser scene. Oh,
That's not.
What happened?
Stugantz, are you talking about Entrapment with Catherine Zeta-Jones?
Oh, yeah, that was a mistake. Whoops. But Lara Croft, Tomb Raider. The laser scene. I can't believe I got that wrong.
The Dan Le Batard Show. 9 till noon on the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 1170.
River Valley Turf is your family-owned and operated John Deere dealer, specializing in both lawn and garden and commercial equipment. From walk-behind mowers and lawn tractors to utility vehicles and compact tractors with a variety of attachments. Everything to get your toughest job done. They also have a huge inventory of both new and used John Deere outdoor power equipment in stock and ready for your test ride. That's right. Try it before you buy it. Stop in today and see what River Valley Turf has to offer. Conveniently located in Davenport, Silvis, and online at rivervalleyturf.com.
Car old? Need it sold? Get rid of that old car and do a good deed at the same time. It's the Arrowhead Ranch Annual Auto Auction coming soon to Coal Valley. That's right, it's back. Donate your car, truck, SUV, or motorcycle, and if you live within 40 miles of Coal Valley, they will even pick it up, even if it doesn't run. All donations are tax deductible. Call 309-799-7044 or visit them online at arrowheadyouth.org. Car old, needed sold, Arrowhead Ranch Annual Auto Auction. Stay tuned for an auction date in Coal Valley.
Golick and Wingo.
Here it is. Adam Shine's number 3 bold prediction. Quarterback Sam Darnold will become a star.
The guy missed 5 games or whatever it was with mono, and he still showed signs of being good when he was back. And they've gotten better this offseason.
I think he himself has the potential to become a star, and I think the team was going to be the thing that holds him back from it right now.
Okay.
There's just not enough around. There isn't.
Golick and Wingo, morning 6 till 9 on the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 1170.
To heal, victims of human trafficking need a place to feel safe and rebuild their lives. That's what we do at Dorothy's House every day. Help us continue to serve during these challenging times. Visit dorothyshouse.org/donate.
Your business can have a website that looks great and gets found online. Find out why over 20,000 businesses have chosen Townsquare Interactive for their website design.
Hi, this is Jerry from Fresh Idea Foods. We used Townsquare Interactive. It was easy, simple, and was up and running in no time. We found that it's user-friendly on our side and our customer side.
Make sure your business gets noticed with Townsquare Interactive. For more info, call Dave Sarin at 563-884-7278.
Get your sports fix while you work. Download our free mobile app and never miss a moment. From the Quad Cities sports leader, ESPN 1170 AM.
We are back here in the Hassel Castle, and
you can't hear anything.
Yeah, he should be able to turn up his headphones.
There we go.
Anyway, we have the most calming voice, and I was.
I'm like the calm app, right?
Well, you're something. You are very calming.
Yeah.
I've actually smiled for the first time today since you walked to the door. So if
I'm making peace with everybody.
Hold on a second. You didn't smile when I came in earlier today and talked to you.
Well, I was already angry.
I guess I was bitter.
I was already angry.
I was like, God, these guys are pissed off today. Well, you guys have a little hangover from another article, I think, is what
I talked about.
Well, that one was very upsetting too.
Yeah,
I mean, but at least we didn't get quoted as being.
I don't think
racial
he was.
profilers.
I don't think that was the intent. And Scott's going to come on. Scott's going to come on.
And that's the beauty of it. Is as much as I sit here and point,
because I've been texting with Scott too since that popped up. And,
as much as I
are you going to stay on when Scott's here? Okay.
Absolutely. I told him. I said I'm going to hang on to, and so it doesn't get crazy. So T-Roy doesn't throw his earbuds out.
It's been a real concern of mine, Tom.
It happened a week ago.
Yeah,
he's not going to do that to me.
I wouldn't do that to Tom. I would not do that to you, Tom. You're right. And so everyone, Tom came in off air, and
Tom Kaker from Hawkeye Report.
Tom is friends with Scott Dockerman.
Yeah, and Scott and I have been talking. I mean, he listened to the interview twice, and I knew he was writing this piece, and he's very pro that we did a good job, and that Robert Greene just filibustered. That's why I mentioned that about.
Well, he
45
does mention
minutes.
the fact that
45
He goes. He spoke
53.
45 of the 52 minutes.
Yeah.
So and by the way, I
He filibustered.
Yeah.
But then I know
If
the
I
word
took it
generic is different.
By the
And
way, I know, and he doesn't mean generic in a bad sense. It just means that there was no gotcha questions in there.
And then, other than my angry
He
rant
left
from the beginning of the show, I did go on to say that he, talking about Scott throughout the rest of this article, did a better job of getting the players'
word across,
or what actually happened to each player in very much detail.
And kind of took some of what Akram wrote to task in some sense.
But he did a better job of getting the word out there than that 52-minute interview that we conducted.
Hey, sir.
Hi. How's it going, Tom?
I look on Facebook just to see what color glasses that Sir has on.
Yeah, every day is different,
It's different.
We switch it up.
It's like the Tuesday underwear things that you had, like Tuesday on the back. Yeah.
Apparently, I can switch up my gender daily too.
And kind of going back, and Jay, you know this. I'm very much, if I'm mad, I'm going to say I'm mad, and I'm going to speak my mind.
Yeah.
And if
at the
end of this, if I owe Scott an apology for calling him a jackass,
then you will.
Then
but
I
that's
will.
the beauty of it. What we preach is that just have a conversation. Have a conversation, learn from it, be like, oh,
Scott's
I
a
didn't
good dude.
see it that way.
Scott's a good dude.
You did.
He's so lucky he has you as a friend right now.
Yeah.
Because I really love Tom Kaker. And so the fact that he's in here defending this guy is like
Scott. I just know Scott's perspective, and Scott's a good guy, and he was writing this.
The other article you're referring to that maybe there was a hangover from.
Yeah.
I was thinking about this today. Do you think that the turn from Twitter being the bad guy and the Iowa media being the good guy, that somehow we recreated WrestleMania 13, Bret the Hitman Hart versus Stone Cold Steve Austin, did a double turn?
The double turn.
Rob Howe went heel and Twitter turned face.
Yeah.
Twitter used to be Stone Cold.
Yeah.
And Rob Howe was Bret the Hitman Hart. Now they did the double turn.
That's what I
feel
one
like.
of the great moments in professional wrestling history was that WrestleMania double turn.
I applaud the man, because if you really look at if you look at Rob's last 10 to 20 tweets, the ones with the most mentions and replies or hearts, whatever you want to do, are ones that are more towards the heelish side.
The bad guy.
I'm telling you, take a look at it. His timeline. I did. I was like, all right, I was on a jog this morning. I thought about it. Yes, Rob, I was thinking of you while I was jogging. And then I went back later and I looked up everything. I looked up his last 20 tweets and I'm like, well, look at that. The most action he gets and replies and the analytics and everything is when he kind of takes the heel approach to things.
You know what I've done? I've kind of just walked away from the whole thing at this point.
You're smart.
Because I just...
I'm not. You are.
By the way,
smart.
I did hear something yesterday.
You're good looking. I'm not so good looking.
What'd you hear?
I did hear something yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
Just, I think something might be coming for Robert T. Green.
Oh, good.
Oh, God.
We'll keep our eyes.
So you got to keep it.
Is it the ghost of Christmas past?
I think
Tom.
I think he may have
overstepped.
He may have dug himself a hole.
Oh,
and I know what his response will be the same thing that his was to us, which is that we're racist.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Well, Tom, I want to ask you because
that
what have you heard? What have you heard
me.
about Hush Blackwell? How soon do we have a report?
I think that's probably may be involved with this. So just maybe some of the things.
And then along with that, there was the.
I think there's going to be something fairly soon.
Well, Robert makes the comment in one of his latest posts, which was 4 hours ago. I saw.
I haven't. I checked in on one time since last.
You're not blocked?
I'm not blocked either because I wasn't on Twitter.
I didn't get blocked.
Well, see, because I deleted Twitter and then it's funny. The cloud will bring it back right where you had it. And there was actually like 2 people missed.
I was happy you were back on Twitter.
Angerer told me he loved me. Angerer told me he loved me, and I was like, oh, I missed that.
We got Bomber on Twitter now, and you're back. I mean, it's like,
excuse me, it's Sir Bomber.
Sir Bomber.
But Tommy, let me ask you this, because he says that for Iowa to hire Hush Blackwell means that they're a client, and in no way are they going to have an unbiased report. Do you? I mean, what are your?
I just kind of look at what Hush Blackwell did with the Utah situation. And
for those of us like me who know nothing about that.
Well, the D coordinator got investigated for using off-color remarks, and he got docked and in some pay and things like that. That I think what's going to happen is we're going to find out that probably Brian Ferentz and Seth Wallace have to go through sensitivity training of some sort. They'll probably lose some money off of this just to make it hurt a little bit more financially, and that'll be it. And then they'll just move on. That's kind of my thought. I don't think anybody's getting fired. I don't think anybody I know believes anyone's getting fired.
Let's hope not.
No.
I don't think anybody should get fired. I'm not a fan of cancel culture, so.
No,
but I'm going to tell you this, and then I'm gonna read into a little bit of what I'm seeing from the quotes and tweets of Robert T. And now maybe it's just him, and maybe he is truly representing the former players, but I don't think that's going to satisfy them.
There's no way that anything that comes out of Hush Blackwell is. But I think Hush Blackwell may have something for Robert T. Green.
When are we gonna see this happen?
I don't know.
It's like
are we talking like in a couple days, in a week?
I thought it might happen this week, but we'll see. We'll see.
I feel like a kid at recess.
We won't be on the air Friday. It'll happen Friday. I guarantee it.
Right.
So just
okay.
Might be something.
And you know what? And by the way, I feel bad that we're kind of sounding like we're happy that something's going to happen to Robert T. Green.
No, not happy.
I'm not happy at all.
No,
I don't think Robert T. Green.
Here's the thing.
I don't think Robert T. Green is.
Here's the thing.
Intends to be a bad person. He just.
I think his motives are in the wrong place.
About him.
Right.
That's all.
That's the thing. I think each and every one of us in this room right now have said emphatically over and over again, we want these players to have their voices heard.
100%.
And they should be heard. And
what happened with Akram on Sunday?
I don't know. That was funny. He's all of a sudden he's like, I'm open for business.
Yeah.
And then he got shut down. Or he shut himself down. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that was a 3-hour scramble.
Yeah.
And I already felt like and that was just an hour for me. I was already 2 hours late to the party trying to get him on, and then I thought we were getting there, and then shut it down.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. The whole thing is weird.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's
uncomfortable.
It's whenever you start. I don't want to say that Akram's looking for money. I won't say that. I think Robert T. Green is looking for money.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we know how that works, is he gets these guys in touch with the lawyer. The lawyer, if they get a settlement, pays Robert T. Green on the back end of what he gets. That's how it works.
And then he gets to say that he's the voice for the players.
Finder's fee.
When in reality, he's not the voice for the players. He just recruited them to go to a certain lawyer to make their concessions and what.
Yeah. He's literally Danny DeVito from The Rainmaker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean...
Sure.
He is.
He is. You're not wrong.
He's handing out his card. Hey, kid, why'd you break your arm?
Here we are talking about movies. All I wanted to talk about was White Men Can't Jump today.
We can talk about that too, but I don't know.
I wanted to say he's Jackie Childs from Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fitting as well.
I think DeVito's character is way more greasy.
Yeah. So, it's Tom, the Ivy League canceled their fall sports. What does that mean for the rest of college football?
And I'll remind you that the Ivy League was the first league to cancel their postseason basketball tournament.
That's true, yep.
Before, and everybody rained hell down on the Ivy League for about 2 days for doing that. And then a couple days later, the whole sports world is shut down.
Well, to quote Breakfast Club, it's an academic league.
Yeah. Well, and it's easier for the Ivies to shut down.
You get dressed up, you party.
It's easy for the Ivies to shut
you
down
wear sweaters
when
around
you've
your
got
shoulders.
When you've got Harvard with a $41 billion with a B dollar endowment that can cover costs for a lot of things for quite a while.
How can they guarantee that athletes are going to retain a year of eligibility?
They can't.
It says right here that they're telling people they can.
Well, maybe they can.
That.
Maybe they can. Maybe they're
eligibility in the Ivy League. Yeah,
assurances from.
Right. I mean, if they're only playing against other Ivy League schools, what's it matter?
I would think that they can like, just based on the spring decision from the NCAA.
I mean, if
they're
Harvard
be
makes
lenient,
the NCAA finals next year, I'll be highly.
But Harvard's classes are online only.
We had a piece. My friend Tom Dienhart, who writes for the Purdue site, but wrote for the Big Ten Network, Sporting News in the past. Really good reporter. the Big Ten's going to go to 10 games. We're probably going to find that out here in the next week or two, and it's going to be all conference games. There might be some home and homes. I mean, that's probably what's going to happen.
For football?
Yeah.
No, that's not good.
Yeah.
Did you guys hear that? Did I tell you guys this yesterday? Harvard all classes are online.
Yeah, that's why they're getting rid of.
And the tuition is still almost
So, Tommy, when you say
$70,000.
10 games at home and home, so you're saying we'd play Nebraska twice?
Maybe.
Illinois twice?
Maybe.
Minnesota twice?
Hold
on,
it'll probably
right
be,
now we're 6-0.
It'll probably be all of. It'll probably they were going to want to limit travel as much as possible. So I don't know that Iowa's going to be going to Ohio State or Penn State. They're going to adjust the schedule. You're going to play everybody in your division, and then you might just play double up against like Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Nebraska or somebody.
Minnesota, Wisconsin, Nebraska, Illinois, Northwestern, and Purdue, right?
Yeah.
Rainbow, Alabama.
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
According to
and Iowa's that is our division, correct?
It's seven
Minnesota
teams. So you play
1,
6,
2, 3, 4,
and then
5,
you play
6.
4 doubles maybe. I don't. They may do something different. Maybe play Michigan or something.
We
But
get Illinois twice, Nebraska twice. Let's skip Wisconsin twice,
Mm.
but we get them at home.
But that's an easy one
Minnesota
because
twice?
that's a bus trip.
So you're saying 6?
They
You say
wanna
three
keep
of the 7 teams will play twice? You think?
Maybe. That's just one of the things that they've talked about.
Well, I handpicked my teams where I want to play.
Okay, Illinois. You want to
we
play
don't want
Illinois?
any part of Purdue right now. That freshman quarterback and receiver tore us up.
Yeah. You don't want to see David Bell and Rondale Moore's healthy and with the Plummer kid. Yeah, that's trouble.
We're at Purdue?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so too. But Illinois, yeah, I'll take that twice. Nebraska, come on, Scott Frost. It'd be great to beat him twice.
According
and
to
Minnesota, let's row the boat right on up there.
According to Scott Dockerman, the Big Ten generated $1 billion in 2019 revenue.
You do that with the Dr. Evil look?
$1
billion. No, but the Ivy League, they generated roughly $30 million in revenue in 2019. Stanford is permanently cutting 11 of its 36 varsity sports to help offset a projected $70 million
Fencing
pandemic.
is gone. Fencing is
fuel
out.
deficit, but wrestling's out.
What
All
am I
right, let's
supposed
not
to
joke
do
around
during
about
fencing
wrestling.
here?
Come on.
I know wrestling's. I am
They had a good
really.
program, too.
I'll tell you what.
I was gonna teach
it's
Leah how
one
to
of the
sword fight.
things that
I already know how to
I
sword
am
fight.
really, really, really concerned about is that college wrestling becomes men's gymnastics at the intercollegiate level.
What do you mean by that?
That it's going to be one of the programs that gets cut at a lot of places as these budgets get shrunk.
Why is that? Is it because the
It's
needle?
It's not a money maker.
Well,
most
I didn't.
places.
I was trying to joke there, but thanks for.
And you can't cut because of Title IX. You got to watch from what you're cutting there. Ohio State paused all voluntary workouts on campus due to positive tests. The school did not release numbers, and I want to ask you about that in a second, Tom. North Carolina paused all voluntary football workouts for at least a week after reporting 37 positive tests among athletes, coach, and staff. There's been
worrisome.
teams like TCU that said they will not play.
It's worrisome.
Will not play teams if there's a COVID positive test, and they're not announcing who, what, when, or where. But there's also there's been college football programs that have said they're not going to release who tested positive because of like, hey, yes, well, they're using that, but what they're saying is
void right now.
Although we may have a backup quarterback who's a dual threat left-hander, we don't want them to know ahead of time
Competitive
that
advantage. Yeah.
And then you've got Michigan head coach Jim Harbaugh.
Whoa, boy.
COVID is part of our society, he said. It wasn't caused by football or caused by sports, and there's no expert view right now that I'm aware of that sports is going to make that worse. It's part of our society. We're going to have to deal with it.
Mm-hmm.
He's not wrong.
These are precedented
He's not wrong.
times.
It's just the thing. It's not a good
Unprecedented
take. It's not a popular
He's
take. That's
not-
all. He's not wrong. It's just one of those things that you're like, oh, Jim, good job.
It just sounds like his knuckles are dragging.
Yeah, that's all. It was such a Harbaugh quote where I was like,
Yeah.
oh, it didn't even shock me. It's like, oh, that sounds like him.
Did you
And
see
I've never
Urban
shook
Meyer
hands with him.
said we're not playing football? Urban Meyer said that today.
I don't care what he says. By the way, if Urban Meyer said I'm not coaching tomorrow, I wouldn't believe him.
Yeah.
So
He's
there's not a lot.
coaching tomorrow.
Well, you don't know that. There could be volunteer workout somewhere that he's doing something. I don't believe anything he says.
No.
So why did he say we're not playing football?
I don't know. I just saw a headline.
Because
Says
these are
Urban.
unprecedented times.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You just came right in with that one. I appreciate that.
Off the top rope once again.
Yeah, I appreciate
Sir
it.
Bombs.
Yeah, because we're unprecedented.
She brought the Sir Elbow.
Everything I have is a sir in front of it now.
That's right.
I have to go take
Thanks
a
to
Sir
Robert
restroom
T.
break.
Green, you got to be
That's
sir.
the one thing that we hope sticks around is calling you. That's not, that, how did you say that? You just said that's not what I was saying, sir, or something like
Pardon
that.
me, sir. That's not-
Pardon me, sir. Yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
I was like,
he's in trouble now.
Sir.
Luckily, we went to that question. But I thought
she was
for sure.
I thought she was gonna lash out right
I was
there.
like, he's in trouble now.
I think I was in shock for a minute. They're like, wait a minute. Well, and just the day before, somebody had told me that my voice sounded like a man. So I was not. So I was not excited to hear that. I was shoved back down into my seat for a second. They're like, wait, maybe it's true.
I had someone today comment to me about you
I
on the
don't
show,
think I
Leah.
sound like a man, but that's okay.
Did you know that?
What's that?
Someone commented to me today about you.
Oh, yeah?
On the show.
Did they say that I sound like a man?
No, they did not say that.
I don't want to know. Is it
Did they
nice?
ask for her
It
number?
was very nice. No, they did not.
Okay.
Because I wouldn't have given it to them if they did.
That's right.
Let's
But they did say she sounded and looked dead sexy.
Hey, that's me, dead sexy.
Wow.
And I said, be careful, because she'll kill you.
Let's
She's
take
a
a break,
man-eater.
come back and take a look at some
Man-eater.
of Fangraph's numbers, and let's see what Tom thinks about our over-unders for Major League Baseball that our risk management team. Our risk management team has come up with. See what numbers he likes.
Yeah,
if he
from
was
the risk
gambling,
management team,
if he was
Tom.
gambling on the MLB season.
Is there a reason you gave this one to me? Because I just read this one last time.
You did not read it.
I just did today.
Okay. Look at you go.
Look at me go. Tim Hernandez wants you to focus on new and fun ways to get fit for yourself and your family. ID Life wants you to be healthier, have more energy, get better sleep, and achieve more focus. ID Life is a health and wellness company that is revolutionizing the industry with customized nutrition. The ID Life name stands for Individually Designed Life and was founded on the principle that no two people are alike. So everyone has unique nutritional needs. Tim Hernandez is your guy in the Quad Cities to offer you personalized guidance that is tailored specifically to your health factors and personal goals. Do you have health problems that may be holding you back? The doctors and scientists develop what nutrients you should be taking and what supplements should benefit you the most. Go to qchealth.idlife.com to sign up for an unconditional, no questions asked, 30-day money-back guarantee. Call Tim Hernandez today at 563-508-7221 so that he can show you that what makes ID Life different is you.
You like that? You like that? Give me a hell yeah. I said give me a hell yeah.
This is UFC Hall of Famer Pat Miletich. You're listening to Don't Hassle Us. We're local.
This mother won't guilt trip you, doesn't expect you to call her back, won't stalk you on social, and doesn't compare you to your siblings. Too bad it's not your mother, but now it can be. The new Mother Cruncher Chicken Sandwich from Checkers. Crispy, crunchy, all-white meat with our signature squawk sauce and all the mother-loving fixins. Or the smoky sweet bacon barbecue Mother Cruncher. Get a better mother. The new Mother Cruncher chicken sandwiches, starting at $3.99. Get Checkers delivered.
Escúchame, it is Zidane Le Batard Show on ESPN Radio.
Last one, Bristol. Let's just go to commercial.
I'm gonna hear it again.
Wait, no. We need an answer. We need to see if he gets blank. This is also 2 words.
No, play it again, Bristol. That is not 2 words.
That is 2 words.
It is not.
Oh boy.
Any guesses?
I've got nothing on that. I've got
What is it? What is it, Mike? How could you have anything? Bristol, one more time.
I don't know why this one was hard. That is very clearly Stugat saying "I mean."
Meech, good catching up with you. Big hug. Go leave us now. 0 for 5. 0 for 5.
I walk away with dignity.
The Dan Levitard Show, 9 till noon on the Quad Cities Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
Introducing First Midwest Bank's newest branch, your home. With our online banking and mobile app, it's easier than ever to make a deposit from the dining room, pay bills from the patio, or get alerts in the loft. The convenience of First Midwest Bank, right from your own home. Visit firstmidwest.com/convenient to get started today. First Midwest Bank, momentum for life. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Golick and Wingo.
Everybody has their own decision. Guys don't want to give back money. I mean, that we talk about a reality check show. That's reality as well. There is a lot of money out there. You can do things with that money while you're in the bubble, and also, keeping people aware of what you want them to be aware of. But you can use your money as well, so you can make it so it works for you.
Correct.
Right? And you could still, that's why there's no right or wrong answer.
None.
You know, anybody that thinks that if a baseball player decides not to play, that their teammates are going to be upset with them, sorry, they're not. They may be bummed and say, oh man, especially if it's one of the top players, oh man, this is going to be difficult without this player. But if it's for a health reason, either them or their family, they're going to understand. I mean, they're not going to be vilified by their other teammates. It's just not going to happen.
Golick and Wingo, morning 6 till 9 on the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
HempelSafety.com presents Clash of Legends. Pat Miletich and Michael Nunn, the greatest fighters in Quad City history, will face off in the Clash of Legends event Saturday, July 18th at the Mississippi Valley Fairgrounds. The two former world champions will compete in a professional kickboxing bout they are both calling a fight to unite. Clash of Legends will be the Quad City's first mega fight in 20 years. In a boxing showdown years in the making, Fred Two Fist Thomas will throw down with Steven Stunning Edwards, and MMA standouts Junior Hernandez and Jeremy Castro will fight each other in boxing. Other local boxers competing include Donovan Dennis and Jason Phillips. In addition to the Miletich Nunn bout, an undercard of kickboxing and boxing is also scheduled, featuring MMA legend Jeremy Horn and MMA fighters Jason Medina and Sean Huffman. Tickets available now at Jumpin' Joey's at 5 Points, the Mississippi Valley Fairgrounds office, or online at nitrotickets.com. Tickets start at $40. Sponsored by HempelSafety.com, Budweiser, and Radisson QC Plaza Hotel.
From the Sheedy Family Chiropractic Studios, this is the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170 AM, KBOB Davenport.
I am a real American, fight for the rights of every man. I am a real American, fight for what's right, fight for your life.
All right, everybody, we are back here in the Hassle Castle, brought to you by Dunright Satellite and Dish, and you know what it is. It's Don't Hassle's Local. We got Tommy Kickert in from Hawkeye
Rick
Report.
Derringer. Rick Derringer on guitar for that.
That's such a good song. All right.
Well, isn't he the guy that did Rock and Roll Hoochie Coo?
Didn't
might have.
I think that was Rick Derringer. Rock and Roll.
Does anyone know the answer to that question?
Didn't he also do Pac-Man Fever?
No.
No,
Pac-Man.
that's Cat Scratch Fever.
No, there was a song when Pac-Man came out.
There was Pac-Man
Fever, Pac-Man
But they did it to the words of
driving me crazy, driving me crazy.
Let me look it up.
I think Jay should just sing for the rest of the show.
Yeah. There's that.
Well, I remember as a little
Rick D's
kid when
Disco Duck,
I
right?
went on vacation and I came home and everybody was like, "Hey, we got to go down to Quick Trip and play Centipede." And I go, "What's Centipede?"
Oh man, I can work Centipede.
Isn't Centipede
Galaga's
like
where
Worm
I'm at,
or the on your phone? What was that? What was that
No,
called?
that was Snake.
Tetris?
Snake, but
Yeah.
that was the same.
Pac-Man Fever
idea,
was
right?
sung by Buckner and Garcia.
Of course it was. I was just testing Google.
Oh, Well, good thing we didn't have Leah Google.
Featuring Jace Hall.
I'd be done in
Okay.
about 10 minutes. And have that answer for you.
Supposedly we're going to have baseball this year, Tom.
I hope so.
And Fangraphs has projected the 2020 MLB
I haven't looked
standings.
at any of the numbers
Well, we're gonna give you
for
some
the win
numbers.
totals.
All right.
Are there gambling win totals out there?
Well, we, at our risk team here at Don't Hassle's Local, we set some over-unders, and I want to hear...
Are there any out on the apps yet?
Just follow my lead, and then we'll look out after that, all right? Because we need to go from our risk team...
apps. We don't need no stinking apps.
From what our risk team put out there to what Fangraphs has, and then from there we need to decide where we're going to invest our money.
Cubs are going 60-0.
So of course they are. They're on pace right now.
Cardinals 0-60.
They are not on pace to do that right now.
All right, we ready?
Interesting.
Yes. So it's a 60-game schedule. They're going to play 40 games within their division. They'll play 20 outside, but they'll keep it as close as they can. So that being said, like the New York Yankees will play the New York Mets. You understand how that works? Like, hey, but we're going to have to put a pin on it. We got Scott on the phone.
Okay.
Great.
Oh, here we go.
Doc.
All right, not yet. Ready?
Scott, welcome to Don't Hassle Us Local. Thanks for calling in, sir.
Yeah, hi, this is Scott Docterman with The Athletic.
Hey,
Yeah,
Scott.
buddy.
Yeah, Scott, I don't know if this is Jay. I don't know if Thierry told you. We go straight to air. We're not fancy with the producer or anything
Well, they
like
won't
that.
let us have one. That's not because we're not fancy.
So Scott, we're on air right now. So
Okay.
this
Tom
happened.
Kicker's in studio,
Doc,
Scott.
I'm here to say I saved the day already, so it's all
Well,
good.
Scott, I started out. This is T-Roy. I started out pretty hot and heavy, mad at you, and Tom with his very calming voice, and he has a very gentle way about him.
Yes, very calm presence.
Came and calmed the beast. But I do want to ask my 2 tough questions, and that way we can get the elephant out of the room. And I guess my first one, Scott, is why not just say the interview conducted by Don't Hassle Us or Local, which, by the way, your article is great. And so I'm being a baby about the parts that I don't like. So I'll be admitting that. 2, I really wish we would have had a chance to comment, because I feel that Robert T. Green called us racist. And that really bothers me.
Mm-hmm.
And 3, Tom's kind of told me this, but when you made the comment the questions were largely generic, were you meaning that we weren't trying to openly agitate him, or were, because that's what Tom was trying to say. He's like, no, the questions were very bland, as in they weren't there to be contentious
They weren't
questions.
gotcha. They weren't gotcha questions.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on, and I guess I'll start with the last part first, and then, my old age, try to remember the rest of them. But I'll go with the generic, and that was a word that I chose just to basically say that your questions weren't pointed. They weren't in an area where I thought that was off-putting to the subject. And I listened to the show twice. The second time it was probably more difficult than the first to listen to it, but it wasn't your guys' fault. It was just kind of the rambling that your subject had. But I think, what I tried to do in that transition from his quote, which he spoke about your show on his live Facebook feed, that to talk about, I quoted him on the stereotypes and racial profiling that the radio show subjected to me. What I tried to show in the next sentence was the questions largely were generic, meaning there wasn't anything, and maybe I could have used a different word, and a better word, a more descriptive word, but I will say that it wasn't meaning towards you guys stunk up your interview or anything like that. It was just simply that your questions were, about that type of a nature. And that's why I actually, throughout the course of the next kind of segment there, I mentioned the types of questions you asked. One was about his relationship with Wadley. Another one was whether he had contact with Hush Blackwell.
Correct.
Whether Green had a financial interest in releasing the information in the end game. So basically, because I think what he was trying to do, not only in the interview, but then also, of course, on his Facebook Live, was twist it that you were more interested about him and other topics versus the players, which I know from listening to it twice, that was not the case at all.
Not at all.
No, Scott, real quick on that. You got that quote then from his Facebook Live where he called stereotyping and profiling? Is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think maybe
because we are all blocked from that. By the way,
That makes sense. That makes more sense.
I think maybe, Scott, that's where the disconnect begins, because as you read it the first time, the second time, third time I did, I thought it was a quote coming from him to you. Because the Facebook Live, I know that our show is on Facebook Live. And I do know that you mentioned in the article, kind of going into that Robert does a Facebook Live. So I wasn't taking it from there. I thought you got a quote, and I was like, I can't believe that he, the quote's here without asking us, like, hey, did you guys come from this direction? So as far as conversation goes and everything else, I think one thing that we champion the most is actually having the conversation and talking with people. And Tom coming in and you saying, yes, I'll come on the air. This is important. It's important that when you sit there and say something like, I didn't like where it was going. I thought at the time when I read it, and again, I read it 2 or 3 times, I thought it was more biased towards that side, but when you explain it, then I'm like, wait a minute, that makes sense. And so now I feel like a jackass who took it that way. Maybe I took it too personal.
Yeah, I owe you an apology. I'm sorry.
Aw.
I called you a jackass. I'm a little more the jack. I'm putting an apology on Twitter right now, and then I'm quitting immediately after.
Quit Twitter again. Hey, I got questions for Scott.
Yes.
I got
go ahead,
questions
Tom.
for Scott.
Yeah.
Scott, I want your view on this. What do you think the chances are of having a full college football season? What is college football? We were just talking about the Ivy League and everything, and I'm kind of curious your view, because you're with the Athletic. You guys have a lot of contacts in the world of college football. It just seems like this last week or so, it's gotten really dark again. Is that kind of the feeling you're getting too?
Yeah, it's the chances for a full season are basically zero. Right now, I'd say it's probably 70-30 that it ends up in the spring. I've talked to people with the Big 10, Big 12, and then this morning with Northern Iowa just to kind of gauge where things are at. And the Big 10 has been focused for a little while, a little bit before the 4th of July, started to get focused on the 10-game season simply because what one source told me yesterday was they want to control the variables, meaning that all the players can be under the same type of testing and, versus you go league versus league. Some leagues do it one way, some leagues do it another way. This way, all of them can be doing the same thing, which is why they would focus on that, and of course it'd be on television. But I think that the spikes has everybody very, very concerned. And I talked to a Big 12 source yesterday as well, and they're feeling the same way. And I think everybody's looking at it. And what the Big 10 source told me was, we don't want to rule out fall yet, because what if spring might be worse and we can actually get in a season in the fall and try to get it in, because they have to have football. If they don't, they're dead in the water. I mean, I went through this yesterday. The 14 Big 10 programs generated in football revenue in fiscal 2019 $1 billion in just football alone. The Ivy League generated $30 million. So the Ivy League, from a health and safety standpoint, is clearly ahead of everybody because of their schools and what have you. But then when you look at what the Big Ten has and needs, they're going to do things a little differently. So I think they're going to try to get it as long as they can in the fall. But if they don't see it, then I think it goes to the spring, which, the ripple effect is interesting, because what do you do with basketball? What do you do with wrestling? I mean, those are more interpersonal sports. And, does basketball say if you start football in mid-February through mid to late April, does basketball start in March and go through Memorial Day or early June? And then, but maybe the only good one out of this could be baseball. Perhaps baseball gets pushed into the summer, and that would be a byproduct that would be tremendous, because I think as we are seeing around all the changes going on with the minor leagues and wooden bat leagues and the draft and what have you, I mean, who wouldn't want to go to Iowa City for a baseball game in mid-June if they're playing Michigan or Minnesota or Nebraska or something like that?
Yeah, I talked to Rick Heller about that the other day, just how they're pushing for that. And it makes sense, because you can save so much money. You're spending 4 weeks in February on the road if you're a Big Ten school, going to Florida, going to California. Iowa went out to Hawaii like a year ago or so, and that's a lot of money, and you can save a lot of money on the back end. The impact, if there's no college football for the University of Iowa, it is gigantic. I know you've went through the numbers. Isn't it like between 70 and 75 million in terms of ticket revenue and TV for just if they missed out on football?
Yeah. Last year's numbers were 51 million in TV revenue and 23 million in ticket sales. And then you look at, like, Ohio State is about 50-50. Nebraska is like 50-30. Illinois is like 6 million in ticket sales, so it needs there anyway. but it is important, and you think about it, that it almost completely evens every expense for women's sports and football ticket sales. So it's like 23 million and 23 million. So when you start to add that up, just taking that out, I don't know if they're going to be able to keep every sport. Now, I can also see a situation where perhaps schools are able to convince the NCAA to suspend its number of sports allowed per year by schools, and maybe a bunch of them decide to suspend the sports. Suspend track or volleyball or other sports that just aren't, probably wrestling everywhere but Iowa. Because it's just too costly. But it's scary for everybody.
When do you think we're going to hear from Hush Blackwell? And what do you think the outcome's going to be? Because I gave my opinion earlier. I'm just curious what your thoughts are.
I think somewhere between in the next week to 10 days, possibly 14 days. I think I could see it as long as, probably 2 weeks from yesterday, 13 days or so. So we'll be able to get some sort of resolution, at least a working knowledge of what's going on. And I know some of the questions I've heard are pretty intense and pointed, but probably needed. I think everybody can agree to that part of it, which is that everybody wants to know what happened and who's culpable and how much and what's actually true versus what's actually an embellishment or half-truths or non-truths. And I think, this law firm will probably be able to disseminate some of that and deliver it. How much of it's going to be transparent, I think, is important for Iowa to show most, if not all, of what has been said, and then show kind of action steps thereafter as to what they're taking. Because I think they have made some strong moves. I think the move to increase the numbers of their leadership council. I think I want to say I went through it. The last 2 years there were combined 9 black players. This year there were 12 out of 21. So they're meeting more regularly with Kirk Ferentz and discussing more topics, and he's listening more from what I've been told. So I think that's a good thing for Iowa. And there's going to be a lot out there, and it's going to stink for a while. But if you're get it, take care of it, and don't force people like me and Tom and everybody else to FOIA this stuff and then make the story ongoing.
Mm-hmm. That's what I think is. I hope they don't just put out generic stuff, so we don't all have to FOIA it and just
watch that word, Tom. I'm getting you in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
FOIA. I thought that was funny. I don't know.
Come on now, buddy.
Good job.
We love you. Want to keep you around.
So Scott, Tom had mentioned the possibility of maybe a 10-game Big Ten season. And, with that being said, I think, 2 games against Minnesota, Nebraska, and Illinois would be really good for Iowa. I mean, I'm thinking 10-0.
That would be nice. I don't think that one would happen. That would be interesting, if you manage to stretch the streaks to Minnesota and Minnesota and Nebraska to 7 games. 7 games in 6 seasons, but I think what'll happen is everybody's already playing 9 within the league. They'll just take one more crossover and you'll play it. For Iowa, that's my guess. It'd probably be Indiana, maybe Michigan. I think they probably would not want to play Michigan, considering they're already playing Ohio State, Penn State, and Michigan State. But sometimes you get dealt that hand. But I think what's fascinating is just all the possibilities if it does move back to the spring. I mean, when would they start? When would they start practice? When would they start games? If it's in mid-February, I mean,
how does it affect the NFL draft?
Yeah, I mean,
seriously,
and the NFL has, and you know what the NFL needs to do? They need to push back the draft.
Because Justin Fields, Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence won't play if it's a spring league, if it's spring college football.
I would guess that the top 20, 25 players would probably not play, or if it's a condensed season, maybe if it's 8 games in the spring, potentially they would. And if the draft moves to, say, June, I think the NFL needs to get off its high horse a little bit when it comes to this and realize that this is its minor league feeder system. They basically get all their talent for free, their developments for free. So, might want to help them out on that one. But I do think that it's interesting that if it is like, say, an 8-game season or 10-game season, they start in mid-February, maybe they decide to say, let's do an early jamboree with games held indoors, possibly like, say, Iowa, Minnesota, and maybe Wisconsin, Nebraska in Minneapolis, or Detroit being used, or Indianapolis being used. And maybe the first couple weekends would be indoors. Maybe they could control the variables a little bit more there, and if fans are able to attend, that'd be great. But I'm just really worried about basketball. I think that one could be in real jeopardy because it already coincides with traditional flu season, a second wave potentially of COVID. Everybody's close together. You're coughing. It's cold outside, so you're wearing extra gear. And then the players themselves. I mean, there's no face mask. There's no guards, and maybe that just means less defense. I don't know, but
well, if Crane's teams don't play much defense anyway.
Now you got my brain going. If we do have a basketball season, do we get Garza back?
Yeah.
That's the biggest question. That would normally, Tom, tell me, that would be normally this time of year, if we had a normal year, that would be the biggest question on your board every single day.
Absolutely.
Whether or not Luka Garza. And instead it's everything but the best player in the country and whether or not he returns. I mean, in a regular year, this would have been like when Chuck Long decided if he wanted to stay or go in 1985.
Yep. and this
instead,
this
just
year
kind of
it's hardly even talked about now.
I mean, seriously, we are being.
I
stripped. I think we're being stripped of the opportunity of Iowa winning a national title.
I actually think basketball might have a better shot. College football is going to be the hardest one because there's 120 guys and you're on a college campus. With basketball, you've got 15 guys and 4 coaches, 5 coaches, whatever, and 5 trainers or managers, that sort of thing. So it's just the sheer numbers make it easier, but it's more impactful though if somebody does come down with COVID too.
Right. I struggle to think that this fall is going to happen. Already schools are going to virtual. Both my kids are in college, and both of theirs yesterday they announced they're going 100% virtual again. And my guess is if they can somehow keep the players on campus throughout the fall, working out, training, possibly a lot like they would normally in a summer, and then start, say, and they're able to get a real second semester in. Maybe this thing goes down a little bit in the next 6 months, and start a true fall practice period in mid-January, maybe start games the weekend after the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They would have a real chance. And I think if they have a reduced season, say 8 to 10 games, and it ends right around mid to late April, I think you could probably push back the fall of 2021 season a couple of weeks, and then it would feel kind of normal. But if not, I don't think you could squeeze a 12-week season, a Big Ten championship, and a bunch of bowl games. I think the bowl games are about dead, except for maybe the Final Four.
Yeah, I do too. I don't think the Pinstripe Bowl is going to happen this year, Scott. We're off the hook.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate if the Pinstripe Bowl was in, say, early May. That'd be great.
Yeah, it wouldn't be bad, but there'd probably be baseball going on too.
Did the Pinstripe Bowl get more coverage in the last 2 weeks than it did when the actual Pinstripe Bowl was going on?
Well, that was not one of the best bowl environments.
I know, but that's when Acropolis will play out there. I'm just saying that. I'm sure there was there's a lot of reference to it. Scott, I really want to thank you for calling in. I appreciate
Thanks, Doc.
And in the great words of Dr. Jake Houseman in Dirty Dancing, when I'm wrong, I say I'm wrong. And so I was a little upset or whatever else, but I'm glad that you decided to call in. I'm glad Tom is here, and T. Roy isn't going to drop his AirPods or earbuds or whatever else after this either.
This was very nice and mature. I enjoyed this very much.
Look at you, Scott, all professional.
Hey, thanks so much for having me on.
I feel very adult.
Just remember, it's don't hassle us, we're local. All right, Scott, that's all I ask.
With the @ symbol.
Well, and I would certainly be happy to join your program anytime in the future.
We look forward to it. I don't know if I'll be on Twitter, so Jay have to reach out to you next time.
I'll reach out to him. But thank you so much. You enjoy your day, and stay safe and
Scott.
sanitize
Talk
out
to
there.
you soon.
Thank you.
Thanks, Doc. Yeah, bye. All right, that's Scott Dockman from The Athletic.
I think Kickard has a career in being some sort of
mediator.
He needs to
getting mom and dad to get back together. That's what Izrae said. It's like he's like, I can't handle this. He's like, Izrae's on the Heritage Pub Facebook comment thread said, I can't handle this. It's like having mom and dad fighting.
It's a mediator, or who do you call that when people are? No, what do you call it when a negotiator? You're the negotiator.
Came right in. He's the cooler too. He came right in.
He is so Dalton. He told me, when can I not be cool? Yeah. You won't. I'll let you know.
Dalton from Roadhouse.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
Somebody calls my mom a whore.
Listen, boys.
Is she?
Yeah.
You're kind of a big deal, Kicker.
Listen, boys. I know it's all fun and games, but I'm here to tell you it's time to calm down. Get back to business.
I love it.
All right, pizza lovers. Van's Pizza More is now open at the Plex at the corners of Middle and Forest Grove Roads in Bettendorf. They have outstanding daily specials with Van's Pizza. Check it out. $5 cheeseburger basket, $7 double cheeseburger basket, a $5 personal pizza bombs.
Yes.
$7 personal specialty, $9 for any large, $9 for any medium, $12 for any large. Open from 11 to 9 daily. Delivery to all of Bettendorf and LeClaire. Just call 563-232-1396. Van's Pizza More have that thing ready for pickup or delivery. Once again, that number 563-232-1396. Van's Pizza More, 5023 Competition Drive in Bettendorf.
This is Bobby Metcalf from the Quad City Times, and you are listening to Don't Hassle Us, We're Local.
From lines of credit in Chicagoland to equipment finance loans in the Quad Cities, to better cash flow in Milwaukee. First Midwest Bank is committed to using our local knowledge and ideas to help our clients get their business momentum back. Visit wehaveideas.firstmidwest.com. You have plans, we have ideas. First Midwest Bank, member FDIC.
At a time of personal loss, we each express our feeling in our own way. Whelan Presley Funeral Homes and Crematory recognize that no one service is right for everyone. That's why we offer various options for the most appropriate service, the most fitting farewell, and personalized attention to detail. Whelan Presley Funeral Homes and Crematory, Rock Island, Milan, Reynolds, and the Knox Chapel.
Golick and Wingo.
You want to get into the bubble with a bunch of negative tested people, and then you try and keep it that way. The problem is, it's not only known as a bubble, it's known as the mesh hat, because there are going to be people every day from the outside coming in to help in the next few months with all of this, and then they will leave the mesh hat and go home and then come back in. So that's going to be the issue there. And I get not having an exact answer of, if we have this amount of positive tests, it's over. I understand you can't do that. No. It seems like it's going to be you kind of know it. You kind of say, okay, this is kind of taking over now. We need to stop. The only problem is you wonder, because there's a lot of money at stake here, if they really try and look for reasons to keep going rather than to say, you know what, this is too much, we need to stop.
You know they've gone through this in their minds, but they don't want to say exactly what they think that would be. But that doesn't mean other people aren't doing it.
Golick and Wingo, morning 6 till 9 on the Quad Cities Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
Hey, Quad Cities, it's Jaybird with Don't Hassle Us, We're Local. Get your local sports talk 12 to 2 with me, T-Roy, Bomber, and Serge. Download the station app to listen to us anywhere, and like us on social media to join in the conversation. Plus, when you sign up to be an ESPN Insider, you'll get access to all of our great contests and everything that's going on at ESPN1170am.com. Brought to you by Necker's Jewelers, where the Quad Cities gets engaged. We are the Quad City Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
We've all spent a lot of time at home lately. Has the look of your kitchen and bath been wearing on you? Time to complete the home renovation of your dreams. And for this, you need an all-star. You need to call Mike at All-Star Home Services. Check out their past transformations at all-starhomeservices.com, with financing available and $500 off your complete kitchen or bath project for a limited time. Call now. All-Star Home Services, 563-299-3786, or visit all-starhomeservices.com.
In the Army National Guard, family means everything.
They really appreciate what she's done as a sister as well as a soldier and, supporting their country.
Our parents, they were really supportive that all 5 of us would join.
Family members that are soldiers in the Army National Guard inspire and influence, setting a path for others.
It's validating knowing that, I kind of did my part to make sure this is what they actually wanted and that they feel the same way I do. I'm really proud that we get to help shape the future, and I know that my sisters are going to be amazing soldiers.
Serving part-time in the Army National Guard instills pride that you and your family will share in.
A lot of pride, and they're just out there doing something every day and then serving their country as well.
I got my education because of the Guard. I got to travel a little bit and experience a whole different culture.
Visit NationalGuard.com to learn more about part-time service. Sponsored by the Iowa Army National Guard. Aired by the Iowa Broadcasters Association and this station.
You're right on par in your M&M golf cart.
M&M Golf Cars, your authorized club car dealer, invites you to check out the new Onward by Club Car. Onward's all-new accessories personalize nearly every detail to fit your lifestyle. Customize yours at mmgolfcars.com. 0% financing for 24 months through the end of July. M&M Golf Cars, Bettendorf.
In your M&M golf cart, M&M golf cars.
Download the ESPN 1170 app today. We are the Quad Cities Sports Leader, ESPN 1170.
We are back here in the Hassle Castle, brought to you by Dunright Satellite and Dish, and this is Don't Hassle Us Local on ESPN AM 1170.
We want to thank Scott Dockerman calling in from The Athletic. That was, like you said, that's what adults do. They talk it out, say, oh, I was wrong. Thank you for, and you continue to do the good work. Move on. Before we did that, we were looking at some numbers because the MLB season might happen. And, T-Roy, let's see what Cake has to say about our numbers, what our risk management team, and then from there, We're going to see what we're going to do for as of maybe go to our friends at Elite Sportsbook and place a wager based on what Doc and we decide is a good wager if we can find the wager that we asked him to. All right. So, Fangraphs projected the 2020 MLB season. All right, the final standings. T-Roy, let's go through our numbers first.
Okay.
What are some of the numbers we have that we can bet on?
We had for standing wise.
What's the total? The most wins by a single team, right?
Yeah, we put the over under at 42 and
For
a
the
half.
Dodgers?
42.5.
For the
And
Dodgers?
we both thought, and I predicted both the Dodgers and the Yankees would have the best records, and
Yeah.
I gave them both 45 wins.
45 and 15.
I don't think that any of those teams will be that good.
Okay.
Ooh.
I'm just saying, I think those two are completely
Interesting.
loaded. Completely loaded.
I
and
think there might
in
be
a shortened season.
They
it's
might
going to
get
make a
to
difference.
40. I don't think 45.
Okay, well, I think I set it at 42 and a half. So you're thinking 41 and a half cakes?
Yeah.
So you're basically saying bet the under.
He's saying bet the under. We'll set it at 41 and a half. I'm saying bet the over. We had total home runs at 22 and a half.
No, I don't know. I need to look that up. And if like fastest to within 60 games, fastest to home
I'm
runs
just
in
saying,
MLB history.
that's what we put down.
Yeah. So what was it again?
22 and a half for home runs.
Yep.
100 Ks over under.
Hold on, stop right there. 22.5 for home runs. So will the home run leader, Caker, have over or under 22.5 home runs in the 60-game season?
Over.
Over 22.5.
I said
I
under.
had Aaron Judge and Pete Alonso as being the leaders of each division.
I had Bryce Harper.
He's crazy.
Bryce Harper might be a good bet.
I know.
Jay just wants to touch Bryce Harper. There's a difference
do.
between that
Who
being
doesn't?
a good bet.
Yeah, see? Thanks, Bomber.
You're welcome.
Yeah, see?
No.
I'm always here for you, Jay.
You're a pervert too.
Oh, totally.
That doesn't make me a pervert.
It makes me one.
Yes, it does, Jay.
Okay, fair.
Batting average over under 345 for whoever has the highest batting average each league.
I like that number.
Yeah, I think it's decent.
I like that 345 batting average.
Tommy,
I'll take over. I think
Okay.
there's going to be a lot of offense. Lot of offense.
we had over under 100 Ks for the pitcher. So the most
Yeah,
Ks.
that's an interesting one because you're probably going to get, 10 to 12 starts?
10 to 12 starts, and I figured 8 Ks per start is at 96. So
Yeah, I might go under.
okay, and then RBIs, I set it 50 over under.
Over.
Okay,
I think somebody's going to average more than an RBI a game.
and then saves
Ooh, good one.
20 and a half.
That's a good one. I'll say under.
Okay. Well, Jay, how do we compare to this professional place?
Well, the Fangraphs, they run the season, and they do it, basically they took the season, they do it, they run it through 1,000 times, and then they come up with the average wins for each one of them. And the highest win total that they have, when you take the 1,000 times every time going through, is the Dodgers winning 36.3 games. That's the average out of all the times they've run the simulations. The Dodgers have the best winning percentage.
36?
36.3.
I just looked up their betting win total, and it would be 37 or 38.
Okay.
For them and the Yankees.
So those guys are both the highest.
Yep.
The next highest after that is the Astros at 35.6.
I'm going to take the under with the Astros.
Yep, me too.
I think there's a... I don't think they're going to be as good.
The Astros have been just fine with the COVID. And no one being in the stands this year. The Yankees will be at 35.3.
I'll take the over.
Then the next best is the Twins at 33.8. That is for a division winner.
Twins have the
easiest schedule.
Easiest schedule in MLB.
They do. That's right. If you're looking at the 2019 wins-loss percentage.
A lot of games with Kansas City.
The Tampa Bay Rays would be number 2 in the East. They also would have a 33.8 wins. And then the Indians.
I like Tampa's a sneaky, if you want to throw some money on a World Series team, Tampa would be my sneaky pick.
Jay and I do want to do that.
Yes, we do. So
Well,
looking at FanGraphs,
sprinkle it, just a little sprinkle.
Make it rain.
They've
Take
got
it.
Here's what your divisional winners would be. The Yankees in the East, the Twins in the Central, the Astros in the West. The Braves in the East, the Cubs in the Central.
According to FanGraphs?
According to FanGraphs.
Jeez.
And the Dodgers in the West. Your wild card teams in the American League would be the Tampa Bay Rays and the Cleveland Indians.
Indian.
So they would do the one game playoff to play see who would play at that point. It would be see who plays the Yankees. I'm sorry, no, the Astros. The Astros have a better one here.
By the way,
at
Tampa currently listed 22-1 to win the World Series.
All right, what about the
in the National League? Your wild card teams would be the Washington Nationals, and they would be the home team in a one-game playoff against the Milwaukee Brewers. The winner of that would go on to play the Dodgers. So the Cubs would play the Braves in the divisional series, and the winner of the wild card would play the Dodgers. Now going back to the other side, like I just mentioned, the wild card winner and the Rays would be the home team there. The wild card winner would play the Astros, and of course the Twins get to play the Yankees in the first round.
Because they always do.
Because they always do.
What's going to happen, Jay?
Twins are going to sweep them.
Says that now.
Yeah, I say it every year. It doesn't happen. So that's where that's looking at right now.
All right.
Tom, are we going to have a 2020 MLB World Series champion?
Yes.
Ooh, I said no.
Okay.
I just feel like
after November,
I'm gonna figure it out.
Bummed out, Jay.
But this month, I've said this for a while. That this month is just gonna be. This next month is just gonna be so friggin' bumpy for sports because you're gonna have everything trying to get back going, and it's just gonna be up and down. You're gonna feel like, oh my god, this is never gonna work. Then it's gonna work. You know, you gotta find a way to do it.
Same thing with the NBA.
Yep.
Yeah. Gonna feel like a butt full of zits.
Because you even see like the MLS the soccer league is down in Orlando too, and they just had another team bail out today. Nashville bailed out.
We're gonna see more and more
for the MLS.
Yeah, we're gonna see that a lot.
They had 9 positive tests, I think. So it's just gonna be bumpy.
Well, for the second week in a row, our rewatchables of sports movies has been shortened down.
Mm-hmm.
In 1992, in March of 1992, White Man Can't Jump. It was written and directed by Ron Shelton.
The great Ron Shelton.
Starring Wesley Snipes, Woody Harrelson as streetball hustlers.
Tom's a huge fan of Ron Shelton.
Well, you look at Ron Shelton's catalog.
Mm-hmm.
Bull Durham.
Bull Durham was his first, right?
Blue Chips, Tin Cup.
Mm-hmm.
What did he do in between White Man Can't Jump and Bull Durham? Something that didn't do well. That's when he went back to writing again for doing sports. What do you know? Yeah, he did something in between.
He wrote the book Under Fire.
He did.
He did Tin Cup. He did Hollywood Homicide. Played to the Bone. Just Getting Started.
Played to the Bone had Woody Harrelson in it, and Wesley Snipes actually makes a cameo in that movie.
He did Cobb.
Yeah.
Okay.
He
Wasn't
did
great.
Under Fire with Nick Nolte.
Yep.
Is that the one that's in between the two?
Blue Chips.
I think
Blue Chips was in between.
Yeah.
No, I know. I mean between Bull Durham and then because Bull Durham was 88. Yes.
No, Under Fire was 83.
Okay, there's something in, but then this is 92. This was a $31 million budget. It
The
made
Best
90.
of Times.
Oh, The Best of Times is a great movie.
That's a great
That was
movie,
86.
Yeah.
86.
This made $90.8 million in the box office.
Oh my God, he did The Great White Hype. He did Bad Boys.
Yep, Bad Boys
You
2.
say Great White Hype like it's like that's is.
Well, I mean, it's well known. I'm not saying it's a great movie. I'm just saying it's
Okay.
well known. It's everybody knows
Billy
that.
Hoyle.
Yes, Billy Hoyle.
I did not know that. I thought that
Billy
Spike
Hoyle.
Lee did The Great White Hype. Or what did he do?
Huh? What are you talking about?
What did Spike Lee do that has the great in it hype? Is it? All right, I'm looking that up.
What was the... Okay, this will test Jay a little bit. What
Sure.
was the former NBA player who played a prominent role in
Marcus Jackson or Johnson. Marcus Johnson. He was on the 74-75 UCLA national champions.
Yes, and then played for the Bucks in the NBA.
For the Bucks, yeah. He's
Raymond in the movie.
Raymond, is that you? Nah, it ain't me.
Hey, we went in and tried to get some money.
Yeah. That is based, the part of Raymond when he goes to the glove box to get a gun. He's like, I'm going to get my gun. That's based on a real situation that Ron Shelton saw. He was down there at basketball when he was around the courts. I don't know what he was doing down there.
Watts.
He went down there, and there was the basketball courts where there was tape all around. He said, what's going on? He said, there was a shooting. A man got shot. And he said, what was the issue? And the guy replied back to him, block or charge. And that's how he got the idea for Raymond in there.
I'm going to kill all of you.
Yep.
I remember watching this movie when I was little and I got in trouble for it. So my mom was like, you cannot watch that. And I had HBO in my bedroom and it was on late at night one night and I turned it on and I had the volume down at like 4 so that I could watch it. And I was like, okay, I get it. I get it now why I wasn't allowed to watch that.
If you play a lot of pickup basketball, you know somebody that's just like Billy Hoyle. There was always guys that are like
Billy?
that just
not me. Have you ever hustled anybody?
Just talk
my
trash.
uncle was a pool hustler, not
but
a
Billy
basketball
Hoyle
hustler.
didn't talk good trash.
He did
Sidney
in that.
talked trash.
Yeah, but so did Billy.
I mean, he's like, what are you, the Black Zorro? And that was good. The funny thing about this is, all right, this comes out before the Rodney King and the LA riots, right?
Yeah.
But this is still really at the same time, and I know this is 2020, there's still a lot of racial sensitivity at the time. The title itself, White Men Can't Jump, it's kind of like, oh my goodness, it's an eyebrow raiser. But I mean, it is a situation where
We're
they're
a lot more
they're
accepting back then.
Where it
than
reminds
now.
me, like, I mean, playing ball. I played ball against this guy, and
yeah,
the game's getting ready to start, and this dude's like, "Hey, I'm going to show this white boy how to play the post," and I proceeded to show him how to play the post.
Well, I like it too.
But it's just like it was trash talking on the court.
They assume that.
So I mean, that's just what it was.
That's
you know,
I remember growing up, they assumed that
Yeah.
if you're white, you can't play ball, and that's just
She
not the
can't guard
case.
me.
It's not the case. Doesn't matter what color you are. You can play ball. You can play ball.
But
get the ball out of the net
Trust
for
me.
me, would you?
My senior prom day was
the
6'9".
statement itself in itself.
6'9". Yeah,
white
he
men
could play
can't
ball.
jump. It's true. There's very few white guys that have great hops.
Yeah,
That's true.
Hold on, I want to bring up some of Billy Hoyle's trash talking for cakes.
Oh, they were great. There's
Hold
some
on,
great
hold on.
lines. The Black Zorro.
Yeah, yo, pretty boy. I looked up a basketball player in the dictionary, and it said, "Not you."
Not you.
I love that one.
You still putting up bricks? What is
The
what is this? A
Mason
Mason's
convention-
convention?
Mason
Clang,
convention. Yeah,
clang.
clang.
I need welding torch to play in this league. Let's stop right now and gather all these bricks and build a shelter for the homeless,
Yep.
so that your mother will have a place to live. I want your mother and sister out of my house immediately.
And that was in the tournament that he was talking all that
Yep,
trash.
yep.
And then you've got the side character of Gloria, his
Yeah,
girlfriend,
yeah, yeah.
Rosie
The
Perez.
most annoying woman in Hollywood history.
Rosie
Wow,
Perez.
yeah.
God, her
Wow.
voice is so, it's like nails on a chalkboard
She's
to
so
me.
cute though.
Oh, girl.
Originally,
She's a classic.
it was written
drove me
for a
nuts.
Southern woman. And when Gloria came in, she nailed it. And right away, Ron Shelton's like, I have to have her.
She was great in the part, but I don't want you to tell me you're thirsty. She was just like, irritating. You know what I mean? Like, I want you to tell me that you know what it's like to be thirsty.
It's hard work.
It's just irritating.
Hard goddamn work.
Goddamn work.
You don't
And that was a
make it
by the
mean
way.
something
By the way,
this
speaking
pretty,
of the
look like a
double
chump.
turn,
Yeah.
Sidney Dean pulls the double turn. He hustles Billy while playing with him.
Okay, now let's talk about
And
the
then
hustle.
and then they get tight.
Let's talk about the hustle. Originally, Billy hustles the guys in the court for $62.
For $62 with Kadeem Hardison.
Yes.
We're going to Sizzler.
Going Sizzler. And let's not forget your mama scene in that too. It's awesome. Your mama was an astronaut.
Yeah.
Sidney hustles back by throwing a game for $1,700. The
Yeah.
62 is so bad to him.
The best is when he walks in there and he sees, and Sidney's in there with all those guys.
Yeah.
And Billy Hoyle sees him.
$1,700 is what he gets him back for. And so then they have to play a basketball tournament that Gloria and Sidney's wife come up with an idea that they're going to play in the basketball tournament, the 2-on-2 for $5,000.
$5,000.
Billy,
And
much
then
like
she
Major,
goes to the
hold on,
Jeopardy.
yeah.
Billy, much like Major League Baseball, can't get out of his own way.
Yeah.
And they go and play in the $5,000. Then he bets him his share of it that
Loses
he
it.
can dunk.
Mm-hmm.
White man
Can't
dunk.
jump. They can't jump.
So now Gloria's upset.
Yep.
Well,
She
lost
drags
his
him over
money
there
again.
like a child by the mom by his ear.
By the way, this is all where this movie turns really, really bad and unrealistic. He loses the money, but to make it up to her, he gets her on Jeopardy because Sydney knows a guy on the lot. That's not how Jeopardy works.
Nope.
No.
And Billy has to hit a half-court hook shot to get her on.
Yeah.
My former father-in-law was on Jeopardy twice, by the way.
And did they know someone on a...
No, he had to do it with his IQ, and
Yeah.
they had to test into it. Yeah, he's very, very, very bright. He won like $60,000 the first time, and more than that the second.
Well, she didn't. She won $14,100, and her whole thing is on the category foods that begin with the letter Q.
Yeah, that's right.
Which was an actual category in October of
The letter
1997 on
Q. The letter
Jeopardy. Billy then ends up taking her half of the money to go play in another tournament against the King and the Duck.
And we assume he
and she
loses
leaves
it.
him.
King and Duck Johnson.
Yeah.
The King and
She
Duck
skates
Johnson.
away. She roller skates away. Or is it rollerblades? Rollerblades.
I think it's rollerblades.
I think
yeah.
she rollerbladed
Goodbye,
away.
Billy.
Goodbye, Billy.
The other thing is that she never. You win once. You got to go back. Then you could go on for 5 straight days if you kept winning.
I think she did keep.
But I don't understand because she was not bright. She just
She
read the
she
book.
knew. Yeah, she was smart. Some people.
Book smart.
Yeah, she was book smart. Anyway,
God, Leah, I mean,
first things first.
What about
people-
the Stookie brothers?
The Stookie brothers, like everything.
She just read the book. She read the questions that they ask on Jeopardy. That's how
I
she
know
got on.
we're gonna have to go. One,
It was
I
a
think we're
natural
due for
ability.
another Buddy. Woody Woody and Wesley. They did Wildcats in '86, this in '92, and then Money Train I think in '95, '96. We need another black-white combo Buddy movie like that. And if there's a remake of it, would you go watch this movie?
Yes. No, wait. This one?
Yeah, why
There
they
was
can't
some
jump a remake?
talk.
There was
Is it the
talk.
same-
talk about doing it with Blake Griffin
That's right.
and somebody else.
If they do it with the same cast,
Think
I'd
of,
do
now
it.
there is a uncredited appearance by Gary Payton in this movie,
Yeah.
but now I think you could get a lot of guys that would do it because they all are in production companies and everything else.
Well,
They've
they're
got
not
Space
playing-
Jam
they're
coming
not
I would
playing
rather see
basketball.
this remake than Space Jam 2. That's
Oh,
for certain.
hands down.
All right. Want to thank everyone for tuning in today on ESPN 1170. Tom, thank you for being the cooler. We appreciate it. Thanks for Scott Dockman
The
for calling in
negotiator.
today. You guys have a hassle-free Thursday. We'll see you soon, Quad City. Stay safe and
Have a great
sanitized.
weekend.
And stay dry tonight. See you guys soon.